How can we imagine a world where every production project meets today's need while protecting the environment for the future? Understanding sustainable practices in the CSR sector is necessary for all of us, as these practices have direct impact to our environment, economy, and society. Whether you are a student, professional in construction or resource management, or simply a concerned citizen, the choices made in this industry affect air quality, job creation, and social equity. My name is Saad Afif bin Guljar, discussing about sustainable practices in the CSR sector. Today, I will be discussing how we can reduce environmental impacts and promote social responsibility through effective supply chain management. Thank you for being here. I have worked on projects focused by applying sustainable practices. My enthusiasm for creating a positive impact leads my commitment to promoting responsible supply chain solutions in the CSR sector. This presentation will investigate how sustainable supply chain practices in the CSR sector can effectively reduce environmental impacts, promotion of social responsibility, and improve economic growth, supported by successful case studies. Firstly, we will examine the environmental problems of supply chain problems. Next, we will discuss the solution of the supply chain problems in social responsibility and its impact on communities. Then, finally, we will highlight benefit with case studies that demonstrate the economic advantages of these practices. Now that we have established the importance of sustainable supply chain practices in the CSR sector, let's focus into the first key benefit, reducing environmental impacts. Understanding how these practices can minimize our ecological path is necessary for making a sustainable future. Businesses face challenges in maintaining ethical supply chain caused to reputational loss, loss of consumer trust, and negative impact on society and environment. A report from the International Labour Organization (ILO) estimates that 25 million people are victims of forced labor globally, indicating a significant prevalence of unethical practices in supply chains. The Global Slavery Index, or GLI, highlights that over 40 million people are trapped in modern slavery, with many cases occurring within supply chains of major corporations, reflecting a systematic failure to uphold ethical standards. While ethical supply chains can boost customer satisfaction, they also face serious issues like modern slavery. In response, companies like Nike are acting by introducing strict audits by using NGOs to improve labor conditions. These efforts not only helps workers but also sets a positive example for others. Similarly, IKEA's liability to ethical sourcing has led to a 50% reduction in carbon emissions from its supply chain, proving that ethical practices can benefit both society and business. The CSR project faces significant challenges in its supply chain management, which impact overall total performance. These issues based on various factors including inefficiencies in supplier collaboration, inadequate planning, and a lack of quickness in responding to project demands. Companies like Nike have adopted severe auditing processes and collaborated with NGOs to improve labor conditions in their supply chains, resulting in increased responsibility and better working conditions for workers. A case study on IKEA confirmed that their commitment to ethical sourcing led to a 50% reduction in carbon emissions from their supply chain over last 5 years, showing the success of implementing ethical practices. The positive impacts of ethical supply chain practice are clear in companies like Nike and IKEA, which have made significant developments in improving labor conditions and reducing carbon emissions. These efforts demonstrate corporate responsibility, also set for further benefits. Effective supply chain management is critical for the success of CSR project, particularly given the unique challenges and complexities involved in these sectors. Here are the key benefits of improving with CSR sectors. By adopting ethical supply chain practices, businesses can enhance their brand value and reputation. For instance, a study by Cohen Communications found that 87% of consumers would purchase a product based on a company's support for social or environmental issues. Ethical supply chains can lead to increased customer faithfulness. Research from Edelman revealed that 53% of consumers are more likely to be loyal to brands that supports social responsibility, explaining into repeat business and long-term effectiveness. Having studied the critical role of sustainable practices in reducing environmental impacts and promoting social responsibility. In conclusion, adopting sustainable practices in the CSR sector is vital for reducing environmental impacts, promoting social responsibility, and enhancing economic growth. Let's take these visions and apply them to create a more sustainable future together. To reinforce sustainable supply chain practices under corporate social responsibility, known as CSR, are essential for minimizing environmental impact, promoting social responsibility, and major economic growth. I invite everyone to take action by supporting for sustainable practices within your organizations and communities, whether it is supporting ethical sourcing, reducing waste, or promoting social responsibility initiatives. Every efforts count. Let's work together to create a sustainable future that benefits both our planet and society. Start today by exploring how you can make a difference. Together, we can change our supply chains into powerful forces for good, creating a sustainable future for generations to come. Thank you.